Sorry, guys, you can't see me. First of all, a few moments ago, I did a drop jaw, and then I did a big wow without saying any words or noise. So yeah, watch the YouTube version of this if you need to see the graphics. But that is a wow moment, really. My name's Carl Hinder, and you're listening to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast, the podcast for salon spa and clinic owners who want to grow with more structure, more confidence, and better results. Episode 57. Anne Vasey and Grapevine Marketing taking a look at paid Facebook ads, part 2.
So they'll constantly be trying to do that to you. They'll also trying to get you on the phone to experts. And it's all about keeping you on the platform, spending money on there. I'm not saying it's all bad, because some of the things on there are very good, and it might be a good idea to have them, such as if you haven't got Pixel, which is just a code, if you haven't got the code installed on a website you want to lead people to, or even better, what's called an API key, which can be more accurate. They're very good at helping you with that. You can get onto a call with a technical expert and they will help you with that as well. So I would be just very aware of people who've got, this guru type thing about them, and they are very charming often. I'm not saying they don't have great ideas, because they often do, but don't take everything as gospel. Yeah. Don't take everything I tell you as gospel, because the best way is to test, and then your campaigns will evolve along with whatever the things that change on the platform are as well.
I've noticed that when I've done big campaigns in the past, I've had Facebook message me and say, jump on with one of our experts.
Yeah.
And when I'm not spending much money with them, they don't message me. But when I'm kind of in the middle of a big, they say, jump on with us and we can help. No, I'm not. I never have. But I don't know if it.
I mean, I have, particularly when they first started doing all this, such as call our expert, and they weren't experts at all.
Oh, okay.
They were almost reading from a script of what they wanted to steer you into doing. And so when I would talk to them about things that I would have thought they would have known the answers to it. So if I'd got an issue with something and I would ask them a question, how do you solve this? What would you recommend? They hadn't got an answer, because they aren't actually people on those calls who run Facebook campaigns. They've been recruited and they would have been trained in, this is what we want you to do. This is the point of this call. We want you to get more people doing X, Y, Z. And they all felt very much like that sort of a call. Now, whether it's changed very much, I don't know. The technical type calls can be better. I mean, there was one I spoke to, and this was in the early days of when they were trying to get people to have API keys, which is, it's a more advanced type of code and it's more accurate to put on your website. So I was on a call with this guy from Facebook who was the technical support, and the things he told me to do on my website actually broke my website. So
sorry, guys, you can't see me. First of all, a few moments ago, I did a drop jaw, and then I did a big wow without saying any words or noise. So yeah, watch the YouTube version of this if you need to see the graphics. But that is a wow moment, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, thankfully, I mean, it's a WordPress website, and because I knew how to use WordPress, and I can actually build sites on there, not that I choose to, because that's not what I like doing, but I knew how to fix it, and I could go back and put in all the plugins that he'd destroyed and rebuild it. But if I hadn't been in that position, I would have had to have gone to a web developer, got somebody to help me. It would have been, a cost involved in that. And that made me very, very wary, because this guy was recommending, get the such and such plugin, which wasn't even something recommended by Facebook. It was another plugin to put on the website. And it broke parts of the website, but it also removed the very important thing, which is the pop-up cookie disclaimer. So that disappeared completely from the website. So I wasn't being compliant with data regulations, which I'm very wary of. So thankfully I noticed that as well. So I had to reinstall all of that. And then the other thing to do with an API key as well, you can't just put your normal cookie disclaimer, and Facebook don't tell you this. You can't just have your normal cookie disclaimer because they are using other methods to get information. I don't know how. It's all very clever stuff
See, you do know things that we don't know. That's what I was getting at earlier.
Through making lots of mistakes, yes. So yes, I've learned through, doing lots of things wrong. So hopefully I can pass that knowledge on. But that was another thing. It was once you, and Facebook will probably try on the technical side to say to you, join one of our calls because you need to have the API key because it's better for tracking and finding out about the people's behavior who are opting in to things. So yes, an API key is great to have, but I would say proceed with caution. If you've got a web developer, maybe get them to be in on the call along with yourself, and watch out for things like that the cookie disclaimer options might disappear, but you actually need to update those disclaimers as well, because you need to now tell people that you're using an API key, which does different things to just cookies. So you need to update that as well.
Really very interesting. You can get yourself in all sorts of bother. And that sounds like a statement that says, don't do this yourself, but I don't mean that. Lots of you can do this at a competent level yourself, make some progress, do lots of learning, and who knows, it might be something that will be your forte. But we do need to kind of bring in the experts. I bring in experts for all sorts of things in my business, even though I'm highly competent in lots of these areas. We all have to do this, guys. And one of the things I want a little backtrack on you, Anne, because we touch on it multiple times in all our sessions, but this session as well. I want to go back to the target audience because I was working with a brand new salon yesterday. Yes, it was all over the holidays. I was working with a new client, and it was a big operation. And they clearly, this was nothing to do with social media. This was just to do with overall marketing. They were trying to market to all sectors. So it was in the hair and beauty sector, but they were trying to market to 2-year-old children, 90-year-old ladies, gents who wanted grooming, and it was a real pickle. That's the best way I can put it. Yeah. I feel the same generally, and I know about social media and Facebook ads, and I know that Facebook ads are pretty good at kind of helping you pull out. So can we talk a little bit about how do we identify the audience to get the best result?
Yes, it used to be the way we did it was to target very, very specifically. So when we were doing adverts, let's say 5 years ago, if we were, for example, offering something to do with a hair treatment or a beauty treatment, we would really analyze how we were going to target them. So it would be, is it people who are interested in skincare? Is it female only, which it usually would be? I would say always market to one or the other, unless it's definitely to everybody, because it's usually different language, different way that you're marketing it. If you're speaking to men or women, it can be a very, very different type of advertising. So first of all, yes, you can target on gender, which is the easy one. You can target on age, and you can target on location. They're the main ones that you do need to do. But the other ones, as I say, we used to be very, very specific, and we would look at interests of people. When we were actually targeting, say, beauty industry business owners, we would even look at things like professional organizations they were in, the industry magazines they were reading, the type of union they might be in, all of this sort of thing. And then if there was something that matched in Facebook targeting that was there, that corresponded to that, which often there was, we would use that in the targeting. So we might have a list of 100 different things that we were targeting for. And that's gradually over time changed. Facebook did pull a lot of those interests out anyhow, so you just couldn't choose those options. They did sometimes put in a substitute and say, well, use this instead. And then as time has gone by and as the algorithms have got more and more powerful and really, really great at learning, we've cut back a lot on that very specific targeting. So mostly you can stay broad, but as you said, you're going to be showing it to people of all ages, everybody. So the way you need to differentiate is to think about your wording. So it's either, yes, do some more specific targeting, or make sure that it's very clear in your advert at the top of the advert who you are targeting. So for example, if you were running an advert that was just in the London area, and it could be for a skin service or a hair service, your first line might be something like live in London and have skin concerns, or live in London and have hair concerns. And then you could list the concerns. And it wouldn't be, do you have, because that will get you into trouble straight away with Facebook. If you start calling people out saying they've got these problems in a very direct way, you won't get it through approval. So it could be live in London and have skin concerns, and then you could just put a hyphen, and then you could list or do it in a list with bullet points or emojis, however you want to do it. And you could list those concerns that whatever it is that you're offering is going to overcome. So it could be wrinkles, pigmentation, redness, whatever it might be that your solution is, you can list the problem. So straight away at the top of the advert, you know that it's going to be people in London because you've already said that, although Facebook doesn't always get that right. It will go outside the area even if you've specified it. The reason for that is it will also target people who've recently been in the area now. You can't just choose living in, which you used to be able to, which was great. So that has caused a few problems. And so they're living in London, so hopefully they'll see that at the top of the advert, and they've got these problems, and focusing on those problems will make them think, yes, I've got that problem, I want to know more, and they will read it. So you can get a little bit clever about the wording in your advert. And what, of course, will happen is it will become self-fulfilling. So the people who match that will start opting in. The algorithms will then be clever enough to think, oh, these are the type of people that you're getting opting in. We'll show it to more people who are like this. Now, it's not an exact science, but it does work. And we test and test and test. So even though Facebook now will say, oh, just do age, location and gender and keep it completely broad and wide open. Yes, we do test that, but we will also test against much more specific targeting. Sometimes if it's, say, for a very, very expensive treatment, you might also want to try and target what are called your high net worth individuals. So people who've got lots of money. So how do you target those? Because it doesn't give you that option of income in the UK. It does in the USA Facebook system, but not in the UK, as far as I'm aware at the moment, unless it's changed recently. But you can think about, well, what would they be interested in? They might be interested in luxury holidays. They might be interested in expensive cars. They might be interested in business class air travel. You have to start thinking a little bit more laterally, because it's never just as easy as saying, oh, I want to find all the people who've got lots of money. So you have to get a little bit clever about that as well. And the key is test and test again, because we don't presume ever that something that's working is going to keep working, and it won't always, because every campaign is unique. And so if we did keep the targeting broad, just as age, location and gender, and then found, well, this isn't really getting the right sort of people, which is why it's important for us to talk to our clients. We need their feedback. And if they say to me, well, I'm really not getting the right sort of people here, usually they will, because, as I said, the algorithms are clever enough to do it. And if you put the right wording in the advert as well, it usually will be. But if they fed back to me saying that's not working, we would then be looking at things like improving the targeting, maybe making it a little bit more restrictive on the targeting as well.
Well, another wow. But it's right, isn't it? I mean, those are all the thought processes I have, and it is good that you target, and it's good to see Facebook changing all the time. Of course, it changes between businesses. It changes as well from business to business. If anyone is out there trying to do that, that'll be a different type of audience. But I mean, the broader we make it, well, it's got to be appropriate to your business, because if you have a broad audience for your business, and I'm not just talking socials here, you're going to you're going to have other difficulties. You're going to have branding issues. You're going to have, the whole marketing concept is more challenging when you don't know who your client is.
Yeah.
When you're doing all,
know your audience is really important. So the more you know about your audience, and if you want to go down the route of being much more specific with your targeting, it's like have a really good understanding of who you want to target, and then think about what would they be interested in. What can I find on Facebook interests and demographics that will actually narrow it down and really find that person that I want as well.
Yeah. Okay. Now there's one area that I'm definitely not an expert in, and I might even have the terminology wrong, but I see a lot of it, and I see it on my computer screen, and I see it everywhere, about things like ad blockers and privacy controls. And do you think those things are going to get in the way, or, as you were saying earlier, yeah, they will for a while, but look, these machines, Facebook is so clever. In the long run, they'll overcome them. What's your thoughts and guidance with that kind of issue?
Yeah, it can be an issue. It's a constantly evolving thing, and often we will find that some things that have been implemented in the USA will come over here. So, for example, recently they've had this A2P data thing. I think that's what it's called. I think I've got the name right. And that was where anybody sending automated texts had to show that they'd got permission to send those texts, had to give people an option to opt out within the text as well. And when usually for these texting services, no matter what you're using, there's going to be some cost implementations going on there. If you're having to add extra words in and you are paying per digit and you're sending out thousands of texts a day, there's going to be a cost implication there. So yes, they will happen, and sometimes they can come as a real shock. That came as a big shock. But you then get the guidelines coming out of, well, to comply, you need to have these things in place. So for us, I think one of the things was when we were doing any text automation, we had to have simple things such as the business name, the proof that that person was actually in that business, they own that business, that you've got their business address, that you've got a record that they have given you permission to send them texts. So for myself, when I've got my clients and we automate text to them saying you've got a lead for this, that, and the other, not an issue here at the moment, you might think, but because the automation company that we use, very famous one, Zapier, that a lot of you might have heard of, they are American based. So even though the law is for American companies and it's for texting in America, because the automation company is American, we also have to comply as well. So in all of our messages now, even though they are messages to my own clients who have asked for these leads and they want the leads details straight away, even though I'm sending it to them, I still have to put text stop to unsubscribe, even though they've asked for these messages, which seems completely ludicrous, but that's, we've got to work within the law because we want to be compliant with, data regulations. So yes, you do have to look out for these things. A similar thing is about to happen with emails. So email domains are being tightened up. I think this is an initiative from Google, and it's going to be to do with sending emails which haven't got a proper domain. And they're going to be much harder for people to actually get to see. They're going to be sent to junk if they haven't got a proper domain. So all of these things, yes, they'll come and test us and it will be a bit of a nuisance. Usually, it can be for the good because it can be a nuisance if you're getting texts and emails that you haven't consented to, and it's just somebody, fishing for information. You don't want that. So yes, it is a good thing in some ways, but then in another way, there's probably going to be a cost of it somewhere. So it could be that some people manage to make some money out of this misfortune, we might call it. So there'll be people offering to do this for you because it will look very complicated and you'll think, oh, I can't do this myself. So then you'll be paying somebody to do it for you. A bit like with the last round of things, when you had to do this on your emails, you might remember a few years ago, you had to write to all of the people on your emailing list and get their consent. And of course, there were companies offering to do all of this for you. So yes, it can seem very complicated at first, but usually if you just wait a while, wait a few weeks, somebody on one of the major platforms will be giving you guidance in what to do. So for example, Zapier, they came up with some really great help documents. So you could do it step by step yourself. You didn't have to pay somebody else to do all this for you. But it can just sometimes seem a bit scary at first, particularly when there's all the legal jargon that goes with it as well. So yeah, it's a nuisance, but it's going to keep happening all of the time. And it's just, well, wait for the guidance, make sure you put everything in place that you need to put in place, and you'll see that it won't actually make that much difference if you do those things.
Yeah, we've been going through that in the office for the last month to 8 weeks, I would say, with the emails where they with different flags. We've had to do certain software updates. We moved platforms and we moved to an American platform, and we couldn't automatically carry all those emails across. And I'm talking thousands of emails. Yeah, it has been a real battle so far, but like you say, it is what everyone has to go through. Although, and I'm not going to tell you who this company is, but there's only for for litigation, right? There is. I noticed that companies are trying to cheat. Now, this isn't advice for you salon owners. I want you to stay on the straight and narrow. You need to focus on good business practice. But you said about the text stop. So I signed up for a certain service in the fast food sector, and it says text stop, and so you text stop, and what they do is they then message you from another
another number,
and you text stop that one. So they do text stop that particular number, but they keep choosing. So they've obviously got some robot kind of system, and they never ever stop coming until you kind of just delete them altogether. You know what I mean? Or report them. So I'm not telling you to do that, but everyone is having this battle. Everyone's trying to find their way around the system. And there are upsides and there are downsides for sure. Okay, I think that's not a bad area to finish on, actually.
Okay.
Is there anything you think we've missed or the guys out there need to know about, apart from you, which we'll cover in a moment? Is there anything about Facebook paid ads that you think, I've got to say this before I go?
I would just say stop boosting and do any advertising through the business manager part of the platform, because you've got access to much more functionality and much more data.
Right,
that's
great.
the main advice.
I'll make sure all your details are in the show notes, but what is the best way for people to contact you if they're listening to this now? Where should they go and search you out?
Yeah, I would say you can find me on Facebook. So just search my name, Anne Vasey. If you want to go and have a look at the services we offer and want other methods of getting in touch, I'd say just go to the website, which is grapevinemarketing.co. And that's it. There's no UK or anything else on the end. It's .co on the end of it. And you will find all the contact details about pricing and all the different services we offer. And if anybody wants any other free resources that we've got tons of stuff to help you with your marketing. Just reach out and we can send that out to you as well.
Anne, that's absolutely fantastic. So listen, guys, reach out to Anne. Go and find her on her Facebook. Go and find her on her website. Reach out to her. Get in contact, because your business would probably benefit from a good Facebook campaign, if you like. But that's something for you guys to discuss. And I will have a big thank you. I know we've met up a few times recently, and it's great to see people refocusing on these kinds of issues. Marketing is just so important to a business, but correct marketing is even more important. So listen, big thank you from me. Have a great week, guys, and watch out every Sunday at 4 p.m. for the Salon Help Good to Go podcast. The idea of the podcast is to kickstart your week. Okay, so 4 p.m. every Sunday is there to kickstart your week. So thanks, Anne. And
thank you very much. Thanks, Carl.
Take care, guys, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Salon Help Good to Go podcast. Please take a look in the show notes, pick up your links, and please leave us a review. Let other salon, spa, and clinic owners know that we're here every Sunday at 4 p.m. ready to kickstart their week. We'll see you on the next episode.